This Thursday, we had a 20x opportunity in the market, guys. 20x. That means if you put $1,000 in, you would have made 20,000. And guess who was positioned perfectly for this trade? Me. And guess who made 20x on the trade? You guessed it. Not me, because I sold my position too soon and missed the opportunity, but I was positioned correctly to catch this trade. So we're actually going to do a review of Thursday in this video, see how we can make sure that we're in this for the next time this happened. It actually might happen today in today's session. It is the Friday right after this Thursday that we're going to talk about, but we're going to hop into the charts. We're not going to waste too much time. Got to do the clickbait intros because this is YouTube, not school. If you're new here, my name is Forrest. I invest in stuff I think that everybody should do. I'm a day trader, trade futures, I trade prop accounts on Apex. If you want to sign up for Apex, use my affiliate code. Down below, it'll give you whatever the current sale is, 90% off, 70% off, whatever the current percent is off. Use my code, you will get that percentage off. If you want to get tips in real time, join our Discord. There is a free chat. There's a 7-day free trial as well. You'll see that we do help people in the free chat just fine. But if you want to actually see us call out trades live as well as our live streams, then yeah, you can have to join us as a member. In any case, this stuff is free. So here we go. Let's go ahead and take a look at the charts, get into some good TA and see how we can catch us in the future. Transition. We're going to open up the chart, guys. And cool. So let's take a look at yesterday's price action. Right now, we can see that it's actually 12:28 in the afternoon. We're testing these highs here. 15-minute chart is my primary time frame. If you're not familiar with what this is TradingView. TradingView is just charting software. I use it to chart. It's some of the best charting software out there, right? I use this. I trade on NinjaTrader since a lot of you want to ask. I also trade options in ActiveTrader Pro, and I also have a Thinkorswim account and an Interactive Brokers account. So I have money spread out all over the place, and that's just because I've been doing this for a few years. You're going to encounter times where like certain brokers have outages, and it's nice to be able to still put risk on when that happens and catch good trades. So we are pushing through 4,600 right now with some strength. We just had an alert go off going through 4,600, a lot of green, but we're going to let that run for now. We're going to not even pay attention to that because those trades are already settled. What we really want to look at is yesterday's price action. So Thursday, November 30th, last day of the month, we had a really interesting green candle here right at 130. So let me clean up the charts a little bit. We'll open that up and let's get rid of some of these lines. We don't need this trend line anymore. Just crack that. I have a few different indicators on. So on the side, we see these histograms, right? That is a volume profile. I use the session volume profile HD, which you can see here. We'll get rid of that. And we also use these VWAP bands and all of these. We don't need those for now. So what I really want you guys to notice is just the price action. This is going to be some straight up price action analysis of volume analysis, because that's really what this trade was. Again, this is a 20x trade if you bought calls at the end of the day. There's a few different positions, but we can see here really these strong greens right here at 330, or the label is of 1530. I'll do option V, do a quick plot for you guys to actually be able to see that line. I'll get rid of that. This move at the end of the day, which was 27 points, was what gave us such a huge return on value. I do want to mention in this market right now, you can see that our average daily range is pretty tight. We only did 35 points on the day, give or take a few ticks, nothing crazy. So overall, we're in a pretty tight range. And I want to call this out because even though it seems like we're getting some volatility, we're in a low VIX environment. In a low VIX environment, we have smaller ranges overall. We should always expect our active daily range to be tighter, but that doesn't mean we can't still play and get some nice volatility. As the VIX increases, people often think of the VIX as a volatility measure. Yes, but one of the outcomes of high volatility is a bigger daily range. So you can still have volatility within a small range. We're getting quite a bit of it. Actually, some of our Discord members have been talking about how interesting it is that the market is this volatile with a low VIX, but really I just think of the VIX as a measure for us to look forward at the expected range on the day. Now, in this session, we had an exceptional amount of chop. We can see here on the 15-minute chart, which is my primary time frame that I trade on. I think is the best time frame for day trading. Obviously, you don't have to use it for every single trade, but it is my primary chart for taking entries on whatever my thesis is. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know that my thesis is often based off of higher time frames. So 4 hour, the daily, I come up with my daily thesis based off of higher time frames, and I use the 15-minute chart for entries. Does that make sense? Figure out what my plan is for the day on the daily, weekly, 4 hour, 8 hour, and then I enter based off of what I see on the 15-minute. Sometimes I use a 5 and other time frames, but like, let's just say 90% of the time, guys, 15-minute chart. We can see on the 15-minute chart, we had a huge amount of consolidation. The meta of the market right now, what do I mean by the meta? What is the market meta? So the meta of the market right now is to retest all the wicks. We can see that there's a lot. This wick got retested. This wick got retested. This wick didn't get retested, right? The next candle went higher, but then we came and retested that higher wick. And it starts to look like this chop in this zone right here. It starts to look like this chop in this zone right here. But really, we're just retesting these candles. If you go into the 5-minute, we do see that there was this range here. And if I put it on my VWAP bands, you can actually see that we're trading inside of the VWAP and the lower standard deviation band. So there were some levels that you could use here to scalp this, but what's more important on the 15 in terms of a call out, and we can actually see the candle here at 130 on the 5 as well, was this increase in volume. I want to pay attention to this 130 candle. I have my mouse hovered on it. We have this bottom wick here, and look at the volume. There was an increase in volume on this candle. That was the first signal, and we could also see it on the 15-minute chart. So we'll go to the 15-minute chart. Somehow we went to Tuesday. So the 15-minute chart, the first signal was this doji candle, higher volume. High volume doji is a sign of change in trend, a reversal. If you're not aware of that, there you go, free game for you. Now, everything is contextual. If there's a high volume doji after a high volume doji, but then a top wick and a bottom wick or something, that's chop. That's not what we got in this case. In this case, we just had a bunch of chop, sideways bar coding, and then we got a high volume doji. Sign that something is changing in the market. So I actually took calls here at this time. I took calls for high of day at 130. You'll notice that from here, we went up to VWAP to this area, and I actually closed right here at 45.63. So from here to here, I took profits on my calls. Now that's a good trade. I actually just did a video like last week talking about VWAP. It's a good video. I got out because we got to VWAP. That was a good trade. What I didn't account for though was that I originally had the thesis of us to go to high of day, right? That was my actual thesis. My thesis was to actually go to high of day, but we were grinding so much that I actually let the market get to me. I let the grind and the barcoding wear out my patience, and I should have been more patient. So I made a mistake. I often call out my mistakes on these videos, even though I think I'm a pretty good trader. There's always room for improvement, and if you're not honest with yourself, you'll never catch these big moves. So this is why I did not catch this big move. I had the thesis, I had the position more importantly, and I sold too soon because I traded my P&L instead of trading my plan. I'm gonna call that out. One of the biggest mistakes you can make as traders is trading your P&L instead of trading your plan. People often think of this on the red side. If you trade goes against you, you trade your P&L, you get out too soon, even though the trade comes back your way. Well, it works for the green side as well. If you're green in a trade and you trade your P&L instead of your plan, you will miss out on more upside. And that's exactly what happened to me on Thursday, right? I missed out on this run at the end of the day. So it came back into me. We came here, came back, did a higher low retracement, and then we expanded at the end of the day. What was really, really cool here about this last run here, or really this trade in general, this was a 20x increase. Again, 20x, guys. This position, these positions, these calls here weren't super crazy out of the money calls. And let me actually explain this, why this is relative. A lot of people take lotto calls and they're looking for things outside the daily range. You could have made this 20x by buying calls inside the daily range because we have such a tight range. The meta of the market, I talked about the retest, but we've been ranging. It's been a range market all week and last week we've been in a range market. So if you just played the range market thesis, we didn't range back to the highs, right? 130, we're down here. It's not really a trending market, we're chopping. And so I should have had at least a little risk on, maybe not $1,000, but I should have had a little risk on to catch this huge squeeze up that started here at 330. So we had this quote unquote squeeze, huge aggression to the upside, slightly higher volume here. And then this last move pushed us way higher. We actually swept the 845 high here. So very, very, very simple explanation, guys. But I want to break down the key parts of this. One, the daily plan and how does it relate to the current meta in the market? The market right now, like I said, is ranging. So it's a range market. So I should expect the market to range until it does something different. Two, do not trade your P&L. If you trade your P&L instead of your plan, good or bad, it's going to be bad in the end of the day, right? You're going to leave money on the table. And worst case scenario, you end up red in a trade that ultimately would have been green. And those were the two biggest things here. In terms of just price action and PA analysis here, I'm a huge 15-minute trader. All my videos, you can see I trade on this time frame, price action, volume analysis. You see that I have the volume profile here. All of those things I used in real time to take these trades. But the number one indicator, guys, very, very simple. I mean, I can't make it simpler than it is. If you're looking at other stuff on this chart, you're like, well, what about this? What about that? I'm telling you guys, the only thing that really mattered in this session in terms of the signal was the fact that we had this higher volume doji here at 130, kind of came out of nowhere. Then we had a follow-on bottom wick. You could have taken that, and that was a really solid trade there going into the high of the day. Took that on futures as well. Can't remember what my futures trade was, but I did long. I double dipped, bought the calls, went long. Don't talk about options too much on this channel, but I do trade options very, very often. But really my trades, most of my trades, my setups, I'm looking for on the futures side of the house, trading all of my Apex accounts. So that's really important. Another thing here, VWAP in general, these lines, I think this is a really good example in this session of how useful these levels can be, right? So this blue line is VWAP. The green line is the first standard deviation band on the top and the bottom side. And then the orange line is the second standard deviation band. I did a whole video on this. You can go watch that. But these really acted as support and resistance levels throughout the session. Pretty clearly here that you could have scalped on the 5-minute or some other time frame. So we'll go back to the 5-minute. Let me actually take an eye at the market real quick. 46.01. Wow, we're really grinding up. Ooh, and we just had a higher volume top wick here. Let's go to the 15. So 15 still has 5 minutes. So I'm gonna see how this candle closes here on the 15, but I might go and put a short on right here. Anyways, let's get back to the current video, not the current session. session. If you want to see me do stuff live, guys, join the Discord. We call these trades out live. We had an amazing day today, by the way. I traded micros. I did about $500 per account trading 2 M&Q. That's $4 a point, 2 M&Q. You don't have to size up at all. So many people complain about like the trailing threshold and stuff on Apex, but literally, guys, I'm usually very nice in my videos because I'm here to help people. But if you're blowing up and worry about the trailing threshold in these accounts, it's because you're a bad trader. Having a $2,500 trailing threshold is no different than having a $2,500 account. And I've traded with small accounts and turn them into 10K, 20K accounts. It's entirely possible. You just reduce your risk, be more patient, and take bigger trades or trades for more profit potential with smaller risk. But in this case, we can see here on the 5-minute, going back to this video, again, we're talking about the ranges of VWAP. We can see here that this lower band got hit. Let me actually do the line here as we came out of VWAP. Lower band hit, VWAP hit. Came down, lower band hit, VWAP hit. Came down, lower band hit. Then we started to consolidate lowers. Lower, we chop, chop, chop. And then we got that signal, came out of it. So you can obviously see it. Use this yourself. This indicator is just plain old VWAP. Type in VWAP on TradingView. It'll give you this indicator. And then again, the session volume profile HD is how you get the volume profile, for the session. Get rid of that and you can see it here. So we have this volume profile. I did a video explaining the volume profile as well, so I'm not going to explain what these areas are. The volume profile gives you volume at price. This is volume over time. Volume profile gives you volume at price. If you want an explanation for that, go watch my volume profile video. Cool. So very short and sweet video, guys. I think very, very important. Trading is not complicated. It's hard, but it's not complicated. Think of it like a marathon. Marathon is very, very hard. Marathons are super hard, super hard, not complicated at all. You just run. You run from start to the finish. So what about it makes it so hard, right? It's the training, it's the dedication, it's waking up every day to put your body in a physical state where you can actually complete a marathon. That's why it's so hard. But you don't have to it's not rocket science to figure out how to train for a marathon or even to run a marathon, right? You just start running and don't stop. That's the same with trading. Trading is all about execution. It's about discretion, about being patient, waiting for your trade, not trading all the stuff in between. You really only need 1 to 2, 3, 4 trades a day, unless you're scalping. Scalping's a whole different beast. You're probably not going to be good at it. I'm going to be frank with you. I've done videos on scalping, not going to go into it, but it's super simple, guys. This is a very condensed explanation of exactly how I trade every single day. These are the only things that I really use, the indicators that I just showed on my screen, along with multi-time frame analysis, some book map, and other things in the background. So keep it simple. Use your levels, read the volume, look for price action, look for what the market is telling you it's going to do. Don't base your trades off of what you hope will happen. Cut your losses early and you'll be a successful trader. If you want an accountability coach or just cool people to hang out with, we have a nice little trading pod / learning community called Trade Edge. Again, the link is down below in the description. My passion is helping people. I love doing this stuff. I love trading. I love filming videos and being creative. That's why I do this, not for any other reason. Sure as hell don't make any money from this, but I love y'all. Blessings. Keep your head up if you're in a tough place, and if you're doing good right now, then keep it up. See you in the next video. Peace.